On March the 28th, Stourbridge FC put out a statement informing fans of a serious safety issue with their ground that could potentially see their 137-year stay at the place they've called their home come to an end. And when you see this picture of the back of one of their stands, perched very close to the edge of an eroding bank, it's clear to see why the ground has been deemed unsafe. Stourbridge FC currently play in the 7th tier of English football and sit 10th in the Southern League Premier Central. They get average crowds of 733, which is very good for the level, and they play at the War Memorial Athletic Ground, which they have done since 1888. It's one of the most unique venues in non-league football, as it's not just a football ground, it's also home to Stourbridge Cricket Club. A ground share between a football and cricket club makes for a very unusual setup, with the football pitch making up half of the overall cricket pitch. Perimeter fences are put up at one side, which can be taken down when the cricket is played during the summer, and not many grounds feature a cricket pavilion on one side, adding to the ground's charm. The entrance with its War Memorial archway, built in 1928, gives the ground even more character. It's a quirky historic venue that's become a favourite for visiting fans and ground hoppers alike. On March the 28th, Stourbridge FC put out a statement saying that recent negotiations with Dudley Council and surveyors have revealed that a number of stands and floodlights are too close to the edge of a bank, and have been ordered to take these stands and floodlights down after the last game of the season is played against Bromsgrove on the 21st of April. Behind the stands set to be taken down are some housing developments, with the rumour being that the building site behind these stands has damaged the foundations of the bank, making it unstable. Back in November there were signs that things weren't quite right when local rivals Hales Owen were only given 425 tickets, with the back of the stand cordoned off. Stourbridge then announced that the capacity of the ground has been reduced from 2,600 to 2,035 due to these safety issues. In the statement, Stourbridge have said that whatever option is taken, the process is going to be extremely costly to the club and will be a stressful period in the club's history. But the question is, should Stourbridge really be the ones footing these costs that could potentially jeopardise the financial future of the club? Stourbridge FC don't actually own the ground, it's owned by Dudley Council, and in a club statement back in November, Stourbridge said that they've been in discussions with the council for years about getting the bank fixed, but the council have failed to carry out their duty of responsibility in line with their existing lease. Surely if it's written into the lease, the council as the landowners should be the ones to sort this out. But unfortunately for Stourbridge, Dudley Council have got previous when it comes to not being particularly helpful, as Dudley Town FC found out when they went through a very similar situation themselves. Back in 1985, Dudley Town FC had just won their first trophy in 51 years, securing the league title to gain promotion into the Southern League Premier Division, which is now known as the National League South. They played at the Dudley Sports Centre, but in June, not long after their promotion, an old limestone mine under the ground collapsed, causing a 75-foot deep sinkhole to appear on the cricket pitch just behind where the football was played. As a result, the Dudley Sports Centre was deemed unsafe, and Dudley Town FC were told they had to find somewhere else to play, but they could return once the ground had been made safe again. But what happened instead was the ground sat derelict for years. That in the 90s was demolished in favour of Castlegate Business Park, and what sits there now is a Premier Inn, various fast food chains, a bowling alley and a cinema. This was a disaster for Dudley Town FC and was the start of numerous relegations down the football pyramid, and fast forward 40 years later they are still without an official home. In that time they've bounced around various different ground shares, playing at the likes of Tividale, Hales Owen, Gormel, Amblecote and Brierley Hill. Dudley currently play their games at a ground in Willen Hall, which isn't even in Dudley, and despite numerous efforts to get them playing back in their hometown, they haven't hosted a game in Dudley for 40 years now. And unfortunately this isn't even a one-off, and we can look towards other sports. Dudley had their own top flight speedway team in Cradley Heathens who played at the Dudley Wood Stadium, but in 1995 they were evicted in order to redevelop the stadium into housing. They existed for one more year, playing their home matches 50 miles away in Stoke, but sadly despite efforts to revive them they are no longer racing. Getting back to Stourbridge, it seems that once again Dudley Council seem to be offering little in the way of support, and you have to hope that we don't see a repeat of what happened with Dudley Town FC and Cradley Heathens Speedway team. When you look at the housing developments being crammed in behind the ground, the Stourbridge supporters who are concerned that this is the council's way of forcing them out in order to get the land for housing. At the moment that's just speculation, but either way it's unlikely they'll be able to play at the War Memorial ground next season. Whilst we're unsure what is going to happen, I imagine if any work is to be done, if the club can afford it, it will take a lot longer than a few months, meaning a ground share for next season away from Stourbridge is the most likely option. Hopefully a solution can be found, but it's uncertain times for Stourbridge FC at the moment, and whatever happens, April 21st will be the last time their their fans will see their ground in its present state, with both stands and floodlights needing to be pulled down. But Stourbridge fans will be hoping that it's not the last time altogether, and that long-term football can continue to be played at the War Memorial Athletic Ground.